Nick, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So much. Thanks for joining me.
Pleasure.
Second best looking mortgage broker in the country, I hear.
Yeah, behind Chris Toffey from Reventon, self-proclaimed number one.
Self-proclaimed number one. Mate, there's so much I want to unpack with you. Let's start with the start. You were a banking and finance student and an accounting student.
Correct.
At the university.
Yep.
And what happened?
So I was at uni for probably 12 months all up, if I really think back, but I didn't enjoy the uni life. I think back then it was 12 contact hours a week. So I was working, earning money, but I just really wanted to earn money. So I didn't really enjoy the accounting side of it. I didn't really enjoy the legal subjects, but I did enjoy the economic side.
Yep.
So I did it for 12 months full time, and then I ended up going and getting a full-time job in a mortgage broking business and finished the degree part-time.
And back then, mortgage broking, what was mortgage broking?
Yeah,
was there a thing?
Well, yeah, it was probably 2000 and I'm just thinking back now, 2002, maybe even a bit later than that, 2003. Very new industry. And the way the industry worked was you generally charge clients.
Yep.
A few banks were paying commissions from memory, but it wasn't that common. But it got common very quick when I was in that particular role. Yeah.
And the transition to mortgage, what made you was it just a role? What made you want to do mortgage broking?
Look, I just fell into it, to be completely transparent. I had an opportunity given to me from my business partner, who was to be my business partner at the time, her uncle. For me, I just saw it as a full-time role.
Yep.
And I wanted to do something that was full-time. I was in the city. So to me, it was, business, corporate. That's what I wanted to do. But I quickly worked out that I really enjoyed it. It was money, buying property, building assets, all these things that people were doing is what I was interested in. And being the facilitator of that was very enjoyable. So it didn't take me long to work out that, number one, it's something that I could be decent at, and number two, that I'd enjoy it.
And I hear not long after you started that role, the company went bust.
They did. There was a few things going on with that business, and mortgage broking was a part of it. So the mortgage broking division got shut down.
And you decided to go out on your own at this stage.
I did, yeah. So that was 2007.
Yep.
Call it naivety.
Courage,
yeah. Blind courage. I had no responsibilities, and we were lucky enough to, I guess, have a leg up because we had a client base, myself and my business partner at the time. We thought we could just keep serving not just those clients but referral partners as well. So we decided to do it ourselves in 2007.
What's the first 6 months like?
Shocking, yeah. And I'd say the first couple of years,
Yep.
because we had some back end support at that business, so we were used to having administration. So we took someone with us who also lost their job. So we had costs, I guess, outside of rent. We had wages costs outside of ourselves day one. So yeah, the first year to even 2 years, robbing Peter to pay Paul, putting the ATO off, paying that. Like, as hard as it was, it really gives you the skills to manage cash flow.
Yep.
And I wouldn't give that back for anything, because with a bigger business now, the ability to foresee what's happening with cash flow and be able to manage it is a skill set I wouldn't have had if I didn't struggle in those first couple of years.
What kept driving you? Like, business is not doing well. It's a few years struggling, kind of, sounds like.
Yeah, well, it's just, I wouldn't say we were struggling in the fact that we weren't writing business, but the ROI on mortgage broking is very delayed. So the first year to two is always tough, particularly if you're carrying a cost base. So for us, it was just making sure that we were doing what we needed to do on the front end, knowing that reward would come.
Yep.
So that's probably what kept me going, knowing that obviously with mortgage businesses, you build a trail book. So now, whilst cash flow was tight in that first year or two, we were building an asset, we were building towards something that we knew would pay dividends at some stage.
Yep. And today, you've got a team.
Today we have
plus?
a team. Yeah, 40. It hovers, just north or south of 40, but I think we're around 40 at the moment.
The transition from that.
How?
How do you go from 23, setting up your own business, from part-time university or so, to a team of 40 in not not that long.
No, and if you count our offshore team, who are all full time, like we're actually at sort of 60 plus now, and they require management as well. So, look, I always wanted to be a business owner. So the idea was to always build a business out in some shape or form. And I guess what we realised pretty quickly is by having support, as in administration support, and also having referrers that referred in, mainly real estate agents and accountants at the time, we knew we had a really good offering for other brokers who were maybe one or two people bands who wanted, number one, leads. That's the hardest thing to get. And could come into a system where things were processed for them so they could get more leads. So we worked out pretty quickly that we could attract people in and offer that support. So we did that. And
You have to set the infrastructure up, get the right referral partners and the
that.
right back end before the attraction piece. And that's not an easy thing to do.
Well, I guess what I did work out pretty early in the piece is that my skill set was relationships. So
Still is.
and it probably still is. And so I just decided to leverage that. The back end support we built by default, just by being in it and building it ourselves just through doing the work. But yeah, I guess I realised that my skill set is relationships. If I can continue to bring those relationships into the business, I just need to find the people to execute. And that's
your
the way
relationships. You mentioned real estate agents and accountants.
Yeah.
Not the easiest two groups to deal with. I love estate agents and I love accountants, but how do you foster a relationship?
Yeah,
How do you start a relationship?
It's a really good question. Most of the relationships I've had in the past, it's a little bit different today just because the business is bigger and I'm doing other things. But most of the relationships that I had were very personal and it went beyond the transaction. If I look at real estate agents, like a lot of the real estate agents that have been with me for quite some time are quite good friends now.
You guys go dipping in the ocean every Wednesday.
We swim, we play golf, we do lunches, all that stuff. So I used to find that if you had a really close personal relationship with someone, not that you would want to have an artificial relationship, like the people that I have relationships with and are good friends.
They're some of your best friends.
They are, and they want to see you succeed. So they will do what they can to make sure you succeed, which is obviously flow of clients back and forth. And some of the accounting groups, particularly Jason, he's a great example. We're really good friends now. He was at my daughter's, first birthday a few weeks ago. So, for me, it was always partnering with people that were similar in the early days. Where it's evolved to now,
Can I go back to the early days? Partnering with people that are similar is one aspect, and getting a close friendship with a principal of a real estate agency or an accountant is one aspect of it. But you get the office to refer to you, and that's a different beast. In my opinion.
And that's probably how it's evolved. I'm lucky enough that the people that I did meet in the early days end up being principals.
Yep.
So they obviously promote you within their business. But where we are now, with a team of sort of 16 salespeople, we've got a lot of mouths to feed. It's about going into an office with a solution for everyone. So, a solution for sales agents, a solution for property managers, a solution for the partners, a solution for the vendors, the tenants, the purchasers, and the landlords. So it's the way that we approach referral relationships now is very much changed or evolved to the point where it's now about, okay, how do we provide a solution to what this group is looking for?
Can I touch on, and sorry to cut you off, but a lot of brokers don't look for solutions. Yes, they'll look for, but they'll look for solutions with sales agents. You're talking landlords, you're talking property management, you're talking where a lot of brokers, in my opinion, vast majority would not touch.
Yeah, and look, I think,
or don't know how to touch.
Yeah, and I would suggest it's both of those things, but definitely don't want to touch because there can be a long lead time. So I think what's happening in the real estate industry, and you know this better than anyone, given your connections into that industry, is it's no longer about the sales agent on the corner who has a property management business to support their sales team, or they just want to build an asset and they sell a property to a landlord, so they want to make sure they can manage it. There's mass consolidation in that industry. It's getting harder, like our industry. If you're not investing in tech, if you're not evolving, if you're not retaining your staff, you can't grow a business. So you're seeing a lot of consolidation. You're seeing groups go from 500 properties under management to 4,000, and even one of our groups has got 7,000 properties under management. These groups have access to a lot of data, and it becomes important for them to then nurture that data and provide a solution for that data. So it's a long play. There's a lot of nurturing with tenants. There's a lot of nurturing with landlords. But if you can take it away from the sales agent and nurture your data, then you can provide good finance opportunities out of that data.
Value add as well for the agency.
It's a value add. And again, they take it away from the sales agents. And sales agents are focused on selling properties, of course. We understand why. They make good money doing that. So the only time that we find a good relationship or a sales agent relationship work really well is when the broker and the agent get on really well. Now you can't scale that. It's impossible to scale that because you're too reliant on two people getting along, which is not easy.
And being front of mind.
Being front of mind, and that sales agent might have a best friend who's a broker. So we're always thinking about how do we get away from that, and we want to deal with groups that are large, that are happy to farm their data for finance opportunities. It's a value add back to the clients, whether they're landlords, tenants, vendors, and it's also a value add back to the office because they're providing or creating another revenue stream out of their existing client base that they would not have seen.
Sounds like an integration into their systems.
Definitely. And the challenge...
Tech piece associated to this?
There's tech, there's marketing, there's also a lot of manpower, because the challenge that we've had in the past is agents, as I said, see their PM business there to fuel their sales business. But now with the consolidation piece, you're getting smarter business people that own these bigger real estate groups. We know a few collectively, you and I, and they're willing to do the work to implement things that we come to them with. So we've got the solutions. We just need someone in the office to implement it. Yep. And these bigger businesses now have the resources to do that. So that's the journey we're on. It's still very difficult, but slowly we get some good results. We get good case studies. We can then share that with other groups.
And in terms of your Inovayt's growth, can I just wind back, because I actually don't know the answer to this, is this Inovayt? Where did the name come from?
Yeah, well, I won't take credit for that because my co-founder at the time came up with the name. Yep. But we wanted to be innovative, and obviously we couldn't spell it the same way as the normal word. And then you see some, I think there was a transport business that had Inovayt with the 8 at the end. So we came up with Inovayt and spelled it the way it is spelt. And looking back now, it was a great name because it's evergreen and it stayed constantly relevant. And we look at what's happening now with AI and tech. It's all about innovation. And the amount of times you hear our business name brought up in a sentence, not on purpose, but indirectly.
Purpose, because your name is well known.
But I'm saying like innovative at the moment, so it's like
it is,
So it turned out to be a really good play, and we love the name, and we've just gone through a rebrand, but we won't be changing the name.
I'll get to your rebrand. Can we go back to your partner, your founding partner?
Yep.
At one stage, 2012, 19 or so. Yep. You decide to part ways, which is not a easy decision to do. I see business partners go different ways, grow apart, but not many make that call, make that courage call to say we need to do this.
Yeah, and look, that was mainly her than me, to be honest. She just had a complete change of life, different values, wanted different things, and we were going different ways. I wanted to build the business. She was pursuing other passions. We actually started the process in probably 2016, 17. And we were very good friends. We actually grew up together. And I said to her, look, I'll give you 3 or 4 years. Go and see how you go. If you're not back by this date, then we need to part ways. And that's what we did. So,
was it tough being a friend?
Not really.
Okay.
No, because it was amicable. Obviously there was conversations that had to be serious, but it wasn't difficult because you could see that the paths weren't aligned anymore, as in what we both wanted. So when that's the case, it's pretty easy. And when you have someone that wants to go on a different path and not maybe take half the business with them, that makes it pretty easy as well.
Yeah. 2012.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I'm jumping around a little bit here.
That's okay.
2012, you had a mortgage broking business.
Yep.
Successful mortgage broking business. You've been operating for a while doing. You added financial planning.
Yep.
What inspired this? And
Yeah, well, I think I was smart enough to realise the difficulty and challenge of bringing people into the business, and I was smart enough to understand that we needed to diversify to increase the value of our business. So, for me, the thought process, and I can still remember it today. It was like we need to get. It's so hard to get people in the doors, clients, and we spend so much time on that, whether it's monetary or time. How can we support these people for as many products as possible that complement each other? And the obvious one was insurance. I think at the time we were doing, some mortgage insurance products that were around, like AIA, for example. We're just protecting the mortgage, and I wanted to do more than that. So I saw it as a way to, number one, diversify, number two, increase our revenue, and number three, give me something different. I was not sick of mortgage broking, but I wanted to try something different. So,
because you're a planner now too.
I went and did study myself. Yeah. And we actually just started doing risk insurance at the start.
It goes hand in hand.
Goes hand in hand, yeah. Right. And then quickly realised doing risk insurance that we needed full financial planning. Questions were getting asked that I couldn't answer. So it was probably 2014, 2015 that we went into full financial planning. A year or two prior to that, we were doing risk insurance.
Yep. And as a business decision,
best decision I made.
Wow.
Yeah. So where we are today, 30% of our revenue, possibly 35%, is now financial planning.
Awesome.
We're in a really good position where we have a legitimate planning business for financial planners. It's a significant diversification play now. So what I mean by that is, if something ever goes wrong with mortgages, we've got a legitimate business there that we can reshift our focus on or put more focus into. And where we're at now is that industry's been through a lot of pain post-Royal Commission, and it's now just on the way up. So, you've got an endless supply of clients, basically, not just from our mortgage business, but external.
You get clients coming to that independently, not from your mortgage business.
Very much so, yeah.
And that will probably feed your mortgage business, I'm assuming, as well.
Not as much as you would think, a little bit, but most of the work in that industry now is baby boomers. So they're people at the other end of their life. They're looking at downsizing. Mortgages aren't a thing. But the challenge in that industry is people. The advisor numbers have halved post-Royal Commission. So,
it's fee for service now.
It's fee for service. It's harder. It's a much better business though. Insurance commissions have come right back. So you've got to be efficient and you've got to be innovative in the way that you do things, or it's hard to be profitable. So we're seeing an endless supply of clients in that business. We've really, in the last 12 months, been aggressive at attacking our mortgage business for our planning business from a client or a referral point of view, because there's been enough work coming in external to our mortgage business.
Yep.
But we've got a good foundation now where our advisors have got really good productivity. So we're really starting to farm and educate our mortgage clients on the benefits of planning. And because we started the business in 2007, 18 years ago now, some of those clients that bought their second home are now ready for retirement.
Yeah.
So really happy I made the decision. And now, within the last 12 months, happier than ever, because I can see the trajectory that industry is going down.
Awesome. Another decision I know you're happy with, because we're friends, is your business partners. Talk to us about your business partners.
Yeah, so post buying out the founder, I think we now have 9 partners. So my plan is, and will continue to be, to bring in key revenue writers, key management, the people that I know in myself I need on the journey to have a successful business will get offered partnership. And it's been one of the best things I've done, because it does a couple of things. It gives people incentive to do the best they can for the business. And I can honestly say, hand on heart, the partners that have come in have gone to another level from a performance point of view. It releases me from responsibilities. Not that I don't want responsibility, but it lets me focus on other things. And I know I've got a safe pair of hands in each of those roles. And it also, from a personal point of view, you get a lot out of seeing people come into your business and grow and be partners. So from a selfish point of view, it does make you feel good that you've been able to provide these people with the ability to be business owners. You have shareholder meetings, you show them the value of their asset going up. You can see that they're engaged, and it was a really positive move for our business, and we're not going to stop.
Phenomenal partners. Jordan has been with you for...
It's endless. Yeah. Honestly, like if I look at our management team, I would challenge anyone, particularly, in both industries, I would challenge anyone to suggest they had a better one. Obviously, I'm biased, but they're unbelievable. Our management team got some amazing mortgage brokers, got amazing planners.
But they see the light. Like they know there's a opening to be a partner at your firm. It's not work hard. There's a ceiling, so they've got to go work hard. No, there's a pathway.
Well, they don't need to leave. They don't need to leave. And the best thing it has done for me is provide case studies. So I think new people coming into our business, they can see that this is a home for the next 20 years. They don't need to worry about, okay, am I going to be at a point where I need to move on because there's no growth in this business? They can see case studies like Jordan, Luke Mace, financial planner, Matt Gibbs, Alex Bryce. So these are case studies, Caleb McEwen in Queensland. These are case studies of people that have come in at the start of their careers in our industry and have progressed quickly. And in no time, really, if you look at the lifespan of these people, in no time they've become business owners and top performers.
You're doing succession planning at your young age, when most people twice your age have not started yet. So
and look, it is succession planning, but I don't see it that way.
No, I know you don't.
I see it as growth and fueling growth, because I can't do what we're doing without them. So for me, it accelerates. It's a growth acceleration mindset. It's not succession planning. Now, obviously, the result of that is that I can disappear from the business for 3 months, and I wouldn't say anyone cares, but nothing really stops.
No, they wouldn't.
So by default, it is succession planning, but it's accelerating the growth. That's the mentality I have with bringing these people in.
And you do a different model than most. You got a PAYG.
Yep.
When a lot of brokers have this independent contractor, joint venture, whatever they call it, model. Well, you had that and you converted to a PAYG. How is that? Because there's a cost involved in PAYG, and a holding cost component to it too.
Really difficult. Yeah. And I think that's why a lot of people traditionally in our industry haven't done it. It's moving to be more of a common theme now. But
it depends on which aggregator. Certain aggregators are really pushing for it, other aggregators are not.
Well, look, the first thing I'll say is the reason that we did it, which was around 2019 when we first started that model, it was about control of the client.
Yep.
So, when you've got numerous revenue streams, you don't want any restrictions on being able to market or promote another service to one of those clients. So if you have a contracted broker that brings a client in, who really owns that client? So for us, it was about control of the client initially. Then as things have evolved, it came down to value of the business, with more control of the client, more ownership of the client, the ability to put more products amongst our clients, then the value of the business goes up. So it evolved to that. And then where it's evolved to now is it's just about being able to, I don't want to use the word control because it's the wrong word, but it's having everyone on the same page. The top performers in our business are the PAYG salespeople, because there's KPIs, they know what they need to do to succeed in the role. Whereas the contractor model, I think, is not for all, but for some, can be a bit of a lifestyle. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that if that's what you choose. But for our business, that's not what we wanted moving forward. We wanted high performance. So it's about control or having everyone on the same
Does it
path.
help with recruitment? Because getting a trainee or a new to industry broker, you would think a PAYG for a guaranteed salary is more attractive than being an independent contractor.
Definitely.
And then going into a vessel where you've got partnership if you meet certain things, you've got leads coming through, you've got a phenomenal back end, like it's an attractive business.
I think so, yeah. And it's difficult to start as a broker. You know, when you, as I mentioned, in our first couple of years, like I survived on credit cards for the first 6 months, and that's a fact. And anyone going into broking now has to understand that it's going to be a couple of years before they really get traction and start to succeed. Now, you've got but at the same time, that's why it was really difficult for us to go to a PAYG model, because you bring brokers in, you know it's a couple of years before they really hit their straps, and then that means it's a couple of years before you get ROI. So for us to have, to your point, the ability for people to come in and earn a salary, have leads, have support, have back end. If you can't make it if you can't make it in our business as a broker, you're probably not going to make it, because there's so much support there for you to succeed. And to your point before, there's so many case studies of people that have done it.
Yep.
So it does help with recruitment and retention, and those partner case studies are massive for recruitment, because proof's in the pudding. We don't just say you can be a partner. Here's 9 examples of it happening.
You're growing. You're always growing. But Queensland, South Australia, New South Wales. Talk about this growth, because it's a slightly different model now you've adapted.
Definitely. First thing I'll say is New South Wales is on the back burner, so I just wanted to say that. But Queensland. Queensland, we've been there since 2019. Diversification. For me, it was diversification. And it's turned out to be a really good decision, particularly with Queensland and what's happened there. Our Queensland team are absolutely flying because of the market. So diversify, be in more than one state. And, now that we've been through the Queensland journey, we really know what we need to do to make it work now. So South Australia, or Adelaide in particular, is more recent. We think we're going to make a really good go of that.
It's a good market there. It's a great
market.
Yeah,
and I think it's got a lot of room to move. It's right at the start of its journey. So for me, it was about diversifying, and also having a national brand, business value. It adds to that.
You've got partners in each state as well. You've kind of got the right partners in for each state as well.
What I quickly worked out with Queensland is you need leadership on the ground. As much as we can be there monthly, however often you want to get there as the leader, you're not on the ground, you're not in the office, you're not part of the banter. So if you don't have leadership on the ground that are championing your business and the decisions that are being made, Chinese whispers, people create their own narrative. So for me now, we need to move to leadership and partnership in each of those states really quickly, to make sure that people are on the Inovayt train, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Rewinding again, sorry. I'm kind of going everywhere with this. Around 2020.
Yeah.
You put on an advisory board.
I did, yep.
Can you talk us, what inspired you to put, not many businesses at your scale at that level would have put an advisory board in?
Yeah. What inspired me, I guess we were getting to a point where we'd introduced the PAYG model. It was working. We were starting to get some ROI on that, and we were ready to go to the next level of growth. And what that meant was, 30 staff instead of 15. So we were going into areas that we had no experience in, as in managing big teams, middle management. So I knew that I needed help. We didn't have the experience in the business that had been through the transition that we were about to go through. So for me, it was just getting external people in who had been through what we were about to go through and beyond, And it turned out to be a really good decision. Still got that same board now. One member has moved on, and we've brought someone else in. And yeah, just challenged decisions that we were making. We've made or not made some key decisions because of that advisory board, which has really set us up. It's really given me focus, as a, we've mentioned this. I started the business in 2007 with just me and a business partner.
23, 24?
Yeah, I was 25.
25, sorry.
Yeah, I'm getting old. So to where we are now, I'm continuously pushing boundaries in my own role that I've never pushed. So I need support because I've never had a business this big. So it was clear to me we needed people external to come in and guide us. And that's been really good. And it's kind of evolved that board to, okay, these are some of the basics you need to do. Now it's more about strategy and where are we taking this thing. So the conversations are far more fun now than they were sort of 4 or 5 years ago. We still talk about the bread and butter stuff, but now it's more about strategy and where you're taking the business.
It's amazing how you see opportunities, and not many people incur the costs. Getting an advisory board is not necessarily cheap. Incur the cost of doing PAYG, but you back yourself and you get in there.
Yeah, well, I think you have to back yourself. And
a lot of people don't.
If you don't back yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen? You learn the lesson and you go do something else. But if you take, I've spoken to this to our team about this before, as long as the risks are calculated and you know what the downside is and you're willing to accept that, I get a lot of conversations come my way because of the PAYG model initially. I've had a lot of conversations with brokers about that. I've had a conversation the other day with someone who's looking to bring on one of our board members from a consultancy point of view, and that conversation went down the same path. He's thinking about doing it. I said, well, do it. What have you got to lose? And he said, I'm not sure. So we'll work out what you've got to lose. And if you're comfortable with that, then have a crack and see how it goes, and just be comfortable that it might not work and then go back to what you were doing. So I think when you're in business, you've got to back yourself to a degree, and you've got to calculate what the loss could be, and you've got to be prepared to wear it, and then you go full steam ahead.
Great advice. A year ago, just over a year ago now, you became a dad.
Yeah.
How is that going?
It's great. I love it.
Are you sleeping? It looks like you're sleeping.
Yeah, we've got to look. My wife's very good. She takes a lot of the.
She turned 40 at the same time as your daughter's first birthday.
So she's great. She's working herself now, but we've got a pretty good routine as far as the sleep goes. I'm a shocking sleeper traditionally, so the good thing it's done for me is I'm almost tired now, so I sleep. I actually sleep better, as weird as that sounds. But mate,
you don't hear that from dads of newborns.
No. Well, as far as getting to sleep, I used to have a challenge getting to sleep. Now just straight out. But mate, it's been awesome. As you know, you're a dad, so you know it.
Life changer.
Life changer.
For me.
I don't know what I did with all my time. Because now I've
played a lot of golf.
Definitely got none of it.
Golf though.
I still play golf. Yeah, not as much as I'd like. But look, for me, it's just been, I can honestly say this. Thinking back, I'm not even sure what the purpose was prior to that, outside of just trying to be successful. But is that a real purpose? So the drive that you have now, that you've got, a purpose, or someone who's 100% reliable on you at this point in time anyway, just gives you a renewed purpose. So for me, there's a lot of joy, but the accountability as to decisions that you make, your work ethic. So I've found I've even become a better decision maker, I think, because now there's more ramifications. So it's been awesome, loving it. And she's just that age now where she's, got a personality and starting to get cheeky and starting to say a few words. So it's a lot of fun.
Your daughter's only one, so she can't understand you. But if you had to give her one bit of advice in life, what would it be?
I would say that you have to take risks and be willing to learn and move on. And it's a bit of a cliche, and I've heard thousands of people say it, but there's no real failure. It's definitely just a learning. And if you're not prepared to do that, then you're never going to grow. And I think I only really learnt that through business, through default. And now that you're thinking about it, you see so many people say it. But I would say always be prepared to take a risk, always be prepared to lose, but know that whatever you lose, you're going to learn, or whenever you lose, you're going to learn, and you're probably not going to make that mistake twice.
I think it's taking the lessons though. Sometimes people lose and they let them get them down. Successful people lose and they learn.
They learn, and still make mistakes every second day, but you learn and you adapt and you move forward. So I would say that to Rosie, my daughter, or anyone really in life or business, that you just got to keep trying and don't worry about making a mistake. It's just part of it.
And your time. Now that you're a dad, is your priorities kind of potentially shifted about being home at a certain time? Or
Yeah, definitely. No doubt. And I think you have to evolve with what's going on. And I talked to a couple of our salespeople about this because they've got young kids. And as you know, what's happening day to day changes pretty quickly as the child grows. So yeah, for me now, it's super important that I'm home for bath time and to put her to bed. And that's some nights that doesn't happen, if there's functions on or whatnot. But I try and leave the office by 5 every day, and I generally stick to that. And I'm generally not in the office till 9. So it's a 9 to 5 day in the office. But what that means is you've got to be super productive in the office. So I think your productivity levels go up because you know that you're out the door at 5.
I do similar because I do school pickups 2 days a week, but I call it time shifting, where I'm off to do school pickup, but then when the girl's asleep, I'll turn back on.
Perfect. And that's the same conversation I have with a particular salesperson. He logs on at 9 o'clock and catches up. And so, well, that's okay because you've had dinner in the afternoon with your family. And sometimes I'll do that as well. I went through a stage, and it's all depending on what's happening. I went through a stage where, Rosie would sleep till 7, so I'd get up super early and do an hour and a half in the morning before I went to the gym. Now that's changed because she's getting up early. So now I might do that half an hour, 45 at night. So you just got to be fluid, and you got to be willing to adapt. But for me, it's that, the time that I do get is that bath time and that dinner time. She sits there while we have dinner. So that's become a non-negotiable unless there's something on. But even now, if there's a function, I won't do anything more than once a week. Whereas before I might have been out 2 nights a week. Now it's once a week at most. And if I really don't need to go, I don't go. So that's probably what's changed for me. And again, just clarity in that decision making that maybe wasn't there.
And
2
you
years ago.
drive.
Well, it's priorities, right? So, that's how you manage it.
Nick, thank you so much. Our producer's wrapping up because we have to go, unfortunately. I can talk to you all day.
That went quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah. But thank you. No doubt I'll have you again as we see the next phase of your massive growth. International, potentially. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
Who knows? But always a pleasure.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.